Attention, the following broadcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up everyone, it's CODY here from the Outcasted OC podcast and welcome to another weekly regular installment of the Monday Night Raw recap. Please do not mind the table and how messy it is behind me. I have not had a chance to sort through my Elimination Chamber merchandise. I have not had a chance to put up my poster yet. But when I do, you best believe it is going to be an incredible day in my house because this is going to be a lot cleaner. So just ignore it. I've spoken about it for too long. You guys are probably looking at it now, so sorry for, shedding light on that for longer than it needed to. Introductions. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into Monday Night Raw because tonight was insanely action-packed. It was a really good episode. A lot of times I dog on the fact of how long Monday Night Raw can feel, especially when it's 3 hours long. This is a really good show though, so let's jump into it. Monday Night Raw this week started off with seeing Jey Uso and Nia Jax backstage making their way into the arena, and we got to see a reminder segment from the Grayson Waller effect from the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event 9 days ago. Not me referencing it because I remember, but because WWE also said it in the video recap segment. Then we got to see The Rock's promo on SmackDown, which that actually, I'm not going to lie to you, sent me to sleep because it was very long. The man spoke for like 20-30 minutes. Cut Tiffany and Naomi's entrances, which I was not happy about. Then Cody Rhodes came out and started talking in the arena and started talking to the crowd, and he speaks about the fact that he is going to be in the WrestleMania 40 main event, and he said, look, this is really what we should be focusing on, but unfortunately I'm not able to talk about it because I have a distraction, which is The Rock. And he said, look, he went up and put this 16-minute promo up on Instagram, deleted it, and then re-uploaded the director's cut, which was 21 minutes. Then he went ahead and did a promo on SmackDown. Cody references the fact that The Rock actually talked about his dog in the promo, and he makes a big deal about it. He's like, don't you be ever talking about my dog ever again, which if you are an animal owner and lover, you'll understand it's never okay to dog on the dog. Like, Pharaoh has the dog in him. Like, I don't know if you know that, but he's got the dog in him. So I'd be afraid if I was The Rock because Pharaoh's going to come after you. Cody Rhodes was a little bit disappointed that The Rock did not accept his challenge, and obviously that he decided to do a counter offer to Cody Rhodes. He said it's very businessman of you, it's very presidential of you, no wonder people want you to run for office. And he said apparently The Rock went ahead and said that not everybody wants to see Cody versus Roman again, and apparently that the people want Rock versus Roman. And he obviously referenced the We Want Cody movement as well too. And, obviously the Cody crybabies now as well. And he asks if there's any Cody crybabies in the building, and a lot of people did cheer. And he said, well, how about we bring my friend Seth Rollins out? So obviously Seth makes his appearance. He comes out. He's looking like a yellow highlighter. Like, I kid you not. He'd be looking like this. I'm not mad at it. I do love me a yellow highlighter. This is probably my most used highlighter. So if Seth Rollins was like, hey, I'm a yellow highlighter, I'd be like, cool, man. I don't know what's going on with me today. I'm insanely unhinged right now. I'll try and refrain with the jokes. It's a bit ridiculous at this point. Cody says to Seth that he feels as though Seth needs to be putting his attention solely on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, and that's what they should be focusing on in terms of Seth should be focusing on Drew and Cody should be focusing on Roman. Cody makes it abundantly clear that he wants Seth Rollins to make sure that he takes care of Drew McIntyre, and he completely understands if he is not on board to help out Cody Rhodes when it comes to the bloodline. Now, can I also just mention something that I'm a little bit frustrated about? WWE had the perfect opportunity to go ahead and have Seth Rollins actually main event at a WrestleMania. But no, they've gone ahead and announced that the Drew and Seth Rollins match is actually the co-main event on the WrestleMania Sunday. So it's the match before the main event. You had one chance to give my boy Seth Rollins the main event, the closing match that he's wanted this entire time. Granted, I get it, the bloodline story is bigger than that, I understand. But it's just, I feel as though we're going to go so many years without Seth Rollins actually closing up a WrestleMania, and I would have loved to see it this year, but unfortunately, we're not getting it. Seth Rollins says, look, I am going to take care of Drew McIntyre. But the biggest thing right now that is going on within the entirety of the WWE is the bloodline, and our stories both need finishing. And he references how 10 years ago, him and Roman obviously wanted to be the purveyors of justice and wanted to give justice back to the people, obviously referencing the Shield. Roman wants power, and with The Rock being here and The Rock being in the position that he's in, Roman will have absolutely every single ounce of having as much power as he could. And when it comes to Seth Rollins, he says, I'm insanely sick of The Rock, I'm over The Rock, and he gives him quite a dirty nickname. I'm not going to say the first D word. You guys can probably go look at the promo segment up. To be honest, I don't really want to say that kind of word on here because it's a bit disgusting, but it's related to poop. So he called him Poop Dwayne, which I think is quite funny, actually. I'm going to start calling Dwayne that. Seth Rollins has an issue with the fact that The Rock has said that he can easily get rid of that World Heavyweight Championship just like that, and I would be very disappointed if he did, because your cousin never shows up for work, so why should we have to wait for your cousin to show up for work for people to actually get a championship opportunity? Seth Rollins references the fact that The Rock said that he's made wrestling cool again, and he said you haven't been cool for 20 years. Seth Rollins makes it abundantly clear that he is 100% medically cleared, and he said to CODY that he's got CODY's back and asks CODY if CODY has his back. Cody Rhodes goes ahead and says, look, this is going to be an absolute mess for you, The Rock. I don't understand why you think you're trying to come at us like this. But anyway, makes it clear that both him and Seth Rollins will be going and actually catching up with The Rock at SmackDown on Friday night this week. I'm happy that my boy is 100% cleared. I'm happy that we're going to be getting WrestleMania with him this year, because a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam without Seth freaking Rollins just doesn't feel right. We go into our first match of the night, which is actually Gunther versus Dominic Mysterio. Now, I do not believe this match was for the title, but nonetheless, it was a really great match. Dom stepped up quite a bit during this performance with Gunther. I was a little bit concerned he wasn't going to, but he put on a great show, so let's talk about it. So, straight away from the very beginning, Gunther is whipping the hell out of Dominic Mysterio, and he ends up getting leg locked by Gunther as well too. Dom slaps Gunther, and then JD ends up trying to step in to cause some interference, and then Gunther ends up chopping the ring post, and we see Gunther putting a sleeper hold onto Dom. He ends up chopping Dominic in half multiple times. The way Dominic Mysterio folded in half during that was insane. Absolutely wild to see. Gunther puts Dom into the Boston Crab. Dom hits a dropkick onto Gunther, and he ends up trying to set up the 619, but then Gunther ends up folding Dominic Mysterio again in another clothesline. Dom hits a sunset flip powerbomb. We end up seeing a really nice dropkick coming in from Gunther, followed up by a powerbomb and a Boston Crab for Gunther to obviously win the match. Like I said, little concerned when Dom obviously challenged Gunther or went ahead and antagonized him, but this was a really great match, and I would love to see another match between Dom and Gunther in the future. Damage Control have arrived to Monday Night Raw. No, this is not their regular show, but they've obviously gone to cause some chaos. They run into Adam Pearce backstage, and Adam Pearce is like, why are you here? Dakota says that she is scouting the competition for the Kabuki Warriors. Now, the Kabuki Warriors are obviously the women's tag team champions, and there's some really good teams on Monday Night Raw, and they want to scout out the competition, specifically Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. They said that if they go ahead and win, the Kabuki Warriors will challenge them to a match next week. Then we see Shinsuke Nakamura coming in, and it's heavily spoken about within this episode of Monday Night Raw that Adam Pearce is going to be making an announcement when it comes to the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. So Shinsuke's wanting to know what's going on, and Adam Pearce is like, look man, just meet me in my office and we'll talk about it then. We have a hype package for Andrade. We get to see him backstage, and we're finding out that he is going to be having his debut match on Monday Night Raw, or as I call it, a re-debut, because it's not the first time we've seen Andrade in WWE. Super excited that he's going to be getting in the ring this week. And then we see Caden Carter and Katana Chance talking about how they obviously know the feeling of what it's like to taste the gold, considering they used to be the champions and they want to get their way back to the top. After this, we get into the tag match between Shayna, Zoe, and Caden and Katana. Very short match. Damage Control is sitting on the commentary table watching this match. Zoe and Shayna are looking stronger and stronger each week when they are doing tag team matches with each other. I'm a little disappointed because I do think that they are very good singles wrestlers, but hey, if this is something that they've got to do to bide some time between now and their next singles push, I'm stoked. I'd love to see them with the tag titles. Zoe hits a really nice big kick, and then Caden and Katana both try to double team Zoe and Shayna. There is a really nice, it looks like a superplex, but it's actually clarified later on that it's a Spanish fly coming in from Caden and Katana as well. It's an incredible sequence. I literally couldn't even write down what it was because of how incredible it was. Shayna Baszler ends up saving Zoe Stark from getting the pin, and this was obviously caused by the double teaming of the after party move. Zoe ends up quickly capitalizing off this and going for the roll up, so Shayna and Zoe have won this match. Then Damage Control comes in and they are trying to confront Zoe and Shayna, but they basically just realize that they're going to be having the match next week. I'm excited for this. I think this is going to be really good. Becky Lynch is walking backstage. She's making her way out to the ring for her match tonight, and then we get to see that the Judgment Day is actually all in the medical room with Dominic Mysterio post his match against Gunther. Rhea's like, what did you think was going to happen? And Damian Priest pops in and says, look, JD, it is your job to sort out Gunther, and the rest of us will go ahead and sort out Imperium. And then Andrade comes in, and he starts talking to Dom, and the rest of Judgment Day is a little bit confused, and Dom's like, look, you just want to keep an eye out for him. He might be super important for us, so just keep an eye out, just keep watching, maybe scout him out, I don't know. Before the match between Becky Lynch and Nia Jax, we got to see a feud recap, obviously seeing what it has taken for these two to get to this point within their feud. Then the match starts between Becky and Nia. Becky is insanely explosive straight away coming out of the ring. Then Nia ends up running Becky Lynch into the corner and Becky hits a really nice drop kick onto Nia. Nia ends up slamming Becky and then she ends up headbutting her and hits her with a really nice elbow. Becky capitalizes on Nia's knee and goes for it, and she's on the rebound. She hits a really nice missile drop kick, but Nia ends up hitting a Samoan drop outside of the ring onto Becky. After the break, Nia hits a leg drop off the second rope. Becky finds her feet and then she is hit with another Samoan drop as well. This match ended up in a no-winner because what happened? Liv Morgan came in and interrupted. Obviously, this is continuing the storyline that happened last week when it seemed as though Becky Lynch ruined Liv Morgan's moment within the match. Obviously, this has kind of caused Liv to be upset, and we end up seeing Liv go for Becky, but Becky gets Liv, and then Nia ends up going for Liv, so Liv just didn't really look that great coming out of this in terms of she goes ahead and interferes in the match, awesome, but then Nia ends up dropping her straight away, so I don't know how this helps Liv. And you guys know I want Liv to do well, but anyway. That is neither here nor there. I'm not going to talk about Liv Morgan anymore because can get pretty dicey on here. Ricochet is seen talking with Adam Pearce backstage and he is visibly upset. He says that closed mouths don't get fed, and he's really peeved at the fact that he has not been considered for another Intercontinental Championship opportunity, seeing as Gunther was the one to beat Ricochet all that time ago. Damian Priest comes in and says to JD, this is your opportunity right now to pitch why you should go after Gunther to Adam Pearce. Then we end up seeing that Adam Pearce makes this announcement. And he basically says, we're going to be having a gauntlet match next week with 6 people, and whoever wins that match will ultimately go up against Gunther at WrestleMania. So the following people are going to be in a gauntlet match next week to go up against this potential opportunity at Mania. So we have Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bronson Reed, JD McDonough, Chad Gable, and Sami Zayn. As I say, all 6 of these men will be going up against each other on Monday Night Raw this week, and ultimately the winner will be able to challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. I'm really hoping it's Sami Zayn. I need him. I need him to be seen as great again. I know how great Sami Zayn is. A lot of people have forgotten. He's doing some really good stuff. The storyline he's been telling as of late, finding that belief back in him again, this is the stuff that I'm talking about where people need to be repackaged and people need to find a storyline. He is literally clutching at straws, my guy, to be at WrestleMania, and I couldn't be more happy for him to get this opportunity considering how great he actually is. After this, we see Liv Morgan is walking backstage. She obviously looks quite defeated and quite hurt after Nia Jax beat down on her after she interrupted the match. Becky Lynch comes in and says, look, I did apologize to you, Liv. That wasn't okay for you to do that. And they end up arguing with each other back and forth, and Becky ends up challenging Liv Morgan to a match next week. After this part was quite funny. Rhea Ripley just walks in behind Becky Lynch, looks at her, starts laughing, and just walks away. So obviously Becky Lynch is still fighting her way to that WrestleMania match. We know she's going up against Rhea Ripley, but she's still having to prove herself time and time again. We see a recap from last week's Monday Night Raw, obviously what happened with Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre, and we end up seeing Jey Uso is backstage, which is super cool to see. Love seeing main event Jey Uso. We go back to the ring where we have the re-debut of Andrade, and who is he wrestling against? Apollo Crews. Do you guys hear me? Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews! We have not seen this man in a long time. I'm pretty sure this is one of his first matches back from injury, and this is what they do for him? We all know how great Andrade is. We all know how great Apollo Crews is. With the short amount of time they got in this match, they still put on a hell of a performance. So let's dissect this match. Andrade, straight away from the beginning, just kicks the face of Apollo. Apollo hits a really nice drop kick, and then they're both just chopping each other. Apollo goes for a superplex, which then Andrade ends up hitting the three amigos, so hits like 3 different suplexes. Then we end up seeing Andrade hit a really nice deep arm drag, and 2 running knees, ends up going face first to Apollo Crews. Andrade comes away with the win. I kind of knew they would do that. He is very much a Triple H guy, but I am excited to see where they go with Andrade from here. Jackie Redmond is catching up with Sami Zayn backstage after the announcement that he will be in the Gauntlet match next week, and he says, look, I have had to believe that there will be some form of WrestleMania path for me, and this is my path to WrestleMania. I will not let this opportunity go. I will fight my way to WrestleMania if it is the last thing I do. See? Character development, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're talking about. Valhalla and Ivar come in and they start antagonizing Sami Zayn. Sami's like, how about I just go and beat your ass in the ring right now? So they set up a match for later on, which is cool to see. We end up seeing Candice and Indy backstage, and Candice is a little bit jaded after what's been happening with her and Indy in terms of them not able to get the tag team championships, and she's quite upset with what's going on. And we see Tegan and Natty arguing backstage about what happened with them in the Royal Rumble, and then obviously they're talking about how we've got to fight harder for the tag titles, which don't really mean anything. Sorry, but they don't. They don't. Because the tag team division is not that great. It can be better, but it's not that great at the moment. Ivy and Maxine come in and they try and make Candice feel better. Obviously, they're like, look, you're doing really well. You've just got to try a little bit harder. And Candice somewhat like snaps on them. And Indy's really like concerned with what's going on. She apologizes to Ivy and Maxine and is like, look, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that she would do that. I will go sort it out. I'm so sorry. So it's interesting to see that character shift with Candice. Are we seeing her maybe change and turn a bit darker? We head back to the ring where we get a tag team match between Imperium and the Judgment Day. So Finn Balor and Damian Priest are taking on Imperium after what happened to Dominic Mysterio against Gunther earlier in the night. This was a really good match. Judgment Day and Imperium can do no wrong when they work together, but also separately. I really enjoyed this match. I was kind of confused how the whole heel versus heel situation was going to go. Obviously, both teams are considered heels. They are not baby faces within the WWE. We could be seeing the Judgment Day turn babyface. Who knows? But anyway, Ludwig and Finn Balor straight away, very beginning, on fire. Then we see Giovanni hit a really nice uppercut, and then we end up seeing some really awesome sequencing coming in from Finn and Giovanni. I honestly just, their in-ring chemistry, those two, is just amazing. We end up seeing Damian Priest just exploding when he finally gets that hot tag. He's coming in hot, hits a really nice big boot. Both teams end up using multiple distractions within the match. Obviously, they know how to trick the ref to get something up for their team. Judgment Day end up double teaming Ludwig. Ludwig is still on fire during this match. He looks fantastic, and Giovanni is looking really strong as well. Halfway through the match, Finn Balor starts to regain control, and Damian Priest just comes out of the gates like a racehorse. Obviously, when the doors open, he just goes full speed ahead. Fantastic to see. We end up seeing Damian Priest hit the broken arrow. Finn hits a sling blade, and then Ludwig and Giovanni both double team Finn Balor. Finn Balor hits the coup de grace, and Ludwig ends up breaking this up. It literally gets a 2.9 count. Then we end up seeing Damian Priest folding Giovanni, and he hits the South of Heaven, so the Judgment Day obviously win. I don't know if this match was for the tag titles. I don't think it was, but still, awesome match. Love the work that the Judgment Day does. Some of my favorites. I love them so much. Got the announcement that Paul Heyman will be making his way into the WWE Hall of Fame. He will be inducted in the 2024 class. It was obviously broken on social media earlier in the day, but because this is the first episode of Monday Night Raw since the news dropped, we got a video package, and I am not lying when I say, first of all, this man deserves to be inducted. I don't care what you say about him. What he's done within the industry speaks for itself. It's helped so many people and it's revolutionized wrestling. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Secondly, it is long overdue. Long overdue. I'm so happy that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame though. And 3, the fact that WWE WrestleMania is happening in Philadelphia this year, there is no better place than to induct him in the home of ECW in Philly. I'm so excited for Paul Heyman. Like, not even as a wrestling fan, like genuinely, he has worked so incredibly hard and he deserves it. I think the next question is, who's going to induct him? If you guys have any theories on who's going to induct Paul Heyman into the Hall of Fame, leave them in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think, because to be honest, you could make a case for so many people inducting him. There are so many different people that could do it from different generations of him obviously being in the industry. Opportunities are endless for him. Jackie Redmond is catching up with Drew McIntyre backstage before his match against Jey Uso, and she asks, what do you think of what's going on with Seth Rollins? Are you guys focusing on your WrestleMania match? Drew McIntyre says that Seth Rollins is nothing but a spotlight junkie. Every single opportunity where something amazing happens, you'll find Seth Rollins obviously trying to hog the spotlight. And he says, if anything, he's not focusing on Monday Night Raw. He's literally going over to another brand and is showcasing the World Heavyweight Championship, and that's not fair. He says, if anything, just show up to WrestleMania and I'm going to treat that title better than you treat the title. And he said, when it comes to Jey Uso is not beating me this week. We head back to the ring where Ivar and Sami Zayn put on a classic. It is a very short match, but it's a great match. Valhalla gives Michael Cole the antlers, and Michael Cole is wearing the deer antlers during this match. I think it's funny. I'm not a big fan of the Viking Raiders, but that's neither here nor there. There's a really nice sequence that comes in from Ivar and Sami as well. Sami ends up fighting back and he sends Ivar flying. Ivar then ends up sending Sami flying, and Sami hits a really nice crossbody and follows this up with a really nice tornado DDT. Ivar hits a spinning kick and we end up seeing Sami hitting a sunset flip powerbomb. Sami ends up hitting an exploder onto Ivar. It takes a couple of attempts, but he gets there anyway. Ivar hits the Doomsault, Sami hits the Helluva Kick, and Sami Zayn wins this match. Super excited, super happy for my boy Sami. And then Bronson Reed comes in and starts attacking Sami and hits him with a tsunami. So it's interesting to see this character development change and this extra level of aggression coming in from Bronson Reed, considering he wasn't able to take part in the Elimination Chamber. I think we are seeing a reinvigorated version of Bronson Reed, and I think this version of Bronson Reed can easily win the Intercontinental Championship gauntlet match if he puts his mind to it. Gunther is seen backstage talking to Kathy Kelly, and he's obviously talking about the Intercontinental Championship contenders match. He was asked about it by Kathy, and he said, look, if anything, I have done everything I can to elevate this Intercontinental Championship, and you could say that this match is stacked, and I'm excited to see what happens. Chad Gable comes in and says he's going to take that Intercontinental Championship away from Gunther, obviously after what he did when it came to his kids watching, making them cry. Very sad moment. I hope Chad Gable gets this opportunity. See, Jey Uso is walking backstage and he's hyping himself up for this match against Drew McIntyre, and he says, I'm sorry for what I'm going to do to you tonight. Then we end up seeing DIY, The Miz, and R-Truth, and Xavier Woods as well too, all backstage playing the new 2K game, and Truth starts talking about how he's thought of some ways to get back at the Judgment Day, so it looks like they're going to go for the tag team titles, maybe at WrestleMania. Wouldn't mind it, to be perfectly honest. We finally hit the main event, Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso, and no, I'm not talking about the same match we had last week. We're finally getting a full match between these two, and I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and talk about it. There is an explosive start from both members in this match. They are just working outside of the ring as well too. Drew McIntyre throws Jey Uso over the commentary table, and Jey hits a really nice powerbomb. You get a spine buster coming in from Drew McIntyre as well, and he hits a really nice suplex onto Jey Uso. Jey Uso is actually scouting out Drew McIntyre during this match as well too, and we end up seeing Solo come in and he starts causing a bit of a distraction. Drew McIntyre hits a Future Shock DDT. Cody Rhodes comes in to make the save to try and defuse the situation with Solo Sikoa, and then we end up seeing Jey Uso hit a super kick followed by a spear. Jimmy Uso comes in and distracts Jey Uso. Drew McIntyre takes advantage of it and hits the Claymore to come away with the win. Obviously, Jimmy Uso comes in to the ring and he has a chair. Seth Rollins runs past Drew McIntyre to the ring. My man is fully healed. I did tell you that. I told you that earlier. He is fully healed, and he comes out and starts going on at Jimmy Uso. Then we end up seeing that Drew McIntyre comes back in the ring and he starts beating down on Seth Rollins, holds up that World Heavyweight Championship, and ultimately looks super strong coming out of this match. I really enjoyed this main event. It really answered a few of my questions in my mind. What's Jey Uso going to be doing during WrestleMania? Who's looking strongest going into the Drew and Seth Rollins match? I'm excited. This was a really great way to finish off Monday Night Raw this week. And that, ladies ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of the Monday Night Raw review for this week. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say and really enjoyed Monday Night Raw this week. Normally, it's a bit of a mission for me to get through it, but this was a really great episode. Really propelled a lot of storylines going forward into WrestleMania. So I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and comment something that you enjoyed about Monday Night Raw. Who else you think could be going into the Hall of Fame this year, or who you'd like to see induct Paul Heyman. Love to know what you guys think. While you're there, make sure you go ahead and check out the description, because you can find all of our social medias so you can keep up to date with what we're doing when we're not posting on here. So we've got our TikToks and our Instagrams down there. You can also find links for where you can find Outcasted OC outside of YouTube. So we have our TikTok, our Instagram, and our Twitter there. Go and check us out, because we do post content on there as well when we're not posting on here. While you're there, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate your love and support on this, and we're really seeing a lot of growth on the channel as of late. So thank you so much for supporting us. We'd love to see the channel grow. While you're there as well, go ahead and click the bell icon. We do not want you to miss an upload from us. If you hit that bell, you will sure to be notified when a new video hits. As always, you've got your regularly scheduled NXT review coming in from Reese this week, the Thursday podcast, as well as the SmackDown review coming in later on this week. I hope to see you guys at the podcast. As always, have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.